WTAP and the Grand Central Mall are teaming up for a telethon Friday, April 24th to support the North Star Child Advocacy Center. Our Cassidy Fury spoke with North Star volunteer Beth Larson to discuss what a child sees and how families are kept calm during one of the most traumatic times of their lives.
For children and families coming to North Star Child Advocacy Center to investigate potential child abuse, the goal is simple: lower the stress before a tough conversation even begins.
We want them to feel comfortable. We want them to feel safe here.
So instead of a quiet hallway and a row of chairs, this first stop looks a lot more like a play space.
It's really more of a playroom than a waiting room. So the first thing the family sees when they come in are brightly painted walls of an underwater scene.
The colorful room is intentional, filled with toys, games, and activities meant to keep kids busy and minds at ease.
By providing toys and games, we want to, one, make the children feel, again, welcome, comfortable, and also it's a distraction because we don't want the children to be in the playroom, in the waiting room, becoming anxious about the interview or becoming nervous about it.
Volunteer Beth Larson said they also provide a folder full of resources and information that helps families understand what to expect and reminds them they're in control of asking questions along the way.
Gives them, I think, a sense of, okay, this is what's going to happen. This is a welcoming place to wait. I am free to ask any questions that I want to.
And when a child leaves feeling a little lighter, that's the payoff.
Well, when I've heard a child say, I like it here, or it was fun here, or there's nice people here, so that I can help in some way to make this experience a little easier for a child and their family or their caregivers as well. That is rewarding for me when I hear a child say that.
The center hopes that comfort up front can lead to a better conversation later, helping children share what happened without feeling scared or alone. Reporting from Parkersburg, I'm Cassidy Fury with WTAP News.